When Michael Jordan came and scored 63, 64 points against them, I remember seeing Larry Bird on TV, and he said, "That wasn't Michael Jordan, that was God disguised as Michael Jordan."
Ben, you've mentioned how important it is to, quote, get it right when telling a story about Michael Jordan. Based on the early returns at South by Southwest, audiences think you did just that. But here's the question. Has Michael seen the film yet? Feedback?
The thing that was really important to me that I made sure before I ever made the movie was that Michael knew, even though I had to change some things and make kind of a parable or a fable, and the details weren't going to be, it wasn't a documentary and they weren't going to be letter perfect. I wanted to be respectful of him and make sure that there was nothing about the story that violated any fundamental truths that were meaningful to him. And I also want to avail myself of partners and people like Chris, who actually knows Michael some and in fact knows the character he's playing very well.
Chris, geez, how excited were you to jump into this world, especially having had a connection with this guy?
When I found out about the part, my agent called and said, Ben and Matt is doing this movie and they want you to play this guy, Howard White. And I was like, wait a minute, I know Howard White. And I put the connection together with Michael, and I called Howard. He's a good friend of mine, and he was like, yeah, I know about it. And he was really helpful, and I've talked to so many people that know him, and they just told me all these things about him, and because I knew him later on as a man, but not as a child in high school, and he had me talk to his high school coach and teachers and all these people, up to Charles Barkley, people he represented at Nike too, and it's just a great help, and he's a great guy, and I tried to embody everything I learned about him in the movie.
Daniel Day-Lewis, Chris Tucker, like immersed into character. It was really extraordinary. Like who you see is very much Howard White.
A lot of that was Howard, saying, hey, hold up, I want you to talk to somebody else. One more person. I was like, oh, okay, all right. And next thing you know, I was immersed in it, and it was just a lot of fun.
Ben, you collaborate with your friend Matt Damon in what is your production company's first film, and on top of that, you get to direct a bucket list collaborator in Viola Davis and hilarious actors like Chris and Jason. So, where does this rank on the career fun scale?
The career fun scale, there's not even a question. It was the most joyful, thrilling. Every day I loved coming to work. Best experience in my professional life. If I could just replicate this over and over and over, I would, but it was definitely a lot of really incredible, talented people, and also sometimes you get lucky and things come together and you get the right people and the right story, and I was happy and thrilled every day.
Ben, I'm curious, as a die-hard Celtics fan, was there any conflict of interest in accurately telling this very Chicago-centric story?
I wouldn't make a Yankees movie. I wouldn't necessarily make a Lakers movie. But in Boston, when Michael Jordan came and scored 63, 64 points against them, I remember seeing Larry Bird on TV, and he said, that wasn't Michael Jordan, that was God disguised as Michael Jordan. There was a sense that there was rivalries and there was the game, and then Michael was a cut above that.
Ben's actually talked about meeting with Michael to make sure he had his blessing and approval for this film. But how much pressure did you feel to get this right? And did you get to meet up with Mike at all?
Well, I was supposed to go to that meeting with MJ, but I was in New York and I had something with my kids that day and I couldn't go. So Ben went down and really got so much out of that meeting, because when he was talking about what's important to you that we get right, that's where we got George Raveling, right? Marlon's character. That's where we got Chris Tucker's character, Howard White. Those were two people that he was like, they were instrumental in my going to Nike. And then he really spoke a lot about his mom and really passionately about the impact that she had and still has on his life, but really had at that point. And so that gave us really incredible direction going into the rewrite about okay, what is this film gonna be? For me, I got to talk to Sonny, and that was really interesting because what he was really helpful in doing was setting kind of the scene of what it was like at that time, and this feeling of camaraderie. They're a lot older now. Sonny's in his 80s, and they look back at this time with such incredible fondness at their friendships. They were really these kind of renegade what they did was so outrageous. And in fact, there was an article that we just learned about, and had we learned about it earlier, we would have put it in the movie. Fortune magazine wrote, proof that Nike has completely lost its way is that they just gave this rookie $250,000. So the conventional wisdom was you guys are completely out of your minds to do this. You're stupid, you're gonna lose a bunch of money. And they went on to kind of create sneakerheads and the whole, this whole sneaker culture that we live in now.
Matt, as a die-hard Celtics fan, Was there any conflict of interest in accurately telling this very Chicago-centric story?
Not at all. I mean, I think everybody admits, no matter where you're from, Michael transcends the game. Like, you had the team that you rooted for, and we were diehard Celtics fans growing up, obviously, but like, you were also a Michael Jordan fan because you couldn't not be. Like, what he did on the court was so amazing. You know, he really got adopted, I feel like, by everybody in the country, as, you know, you were allowed to root for that guy. Also, you know, they were so ubiquitous during their run. They were the national game no matter what. So if you were watching basketball on the weekend, you were watching MJ.
Let's be honest, there's a certain amount of pressure when it comes to telling a Michael Jordan story. I imagine especially so for your director, Ben Affleck. Jason, as a fellow director yourself, how did he manage to do such an iconic story justice?
Yeah, I mean, I was really taken by how entertaining it is. It's a really, really fun ride. Fortunately for us and for Ben, it wasn't really telling so much a story about Michael Jordan as much as it was about Nike and that deal that they made with Michael Jordan and what the struggles inside the company were, what the decision-making process was. And it ended up being kind of a story that exemplifies the thematics of taking a risk, believing in yourself. You know, Sonny Vaccaro, Matt Damon's character, really believes in himself. Michael Jordan's mother believes so deeply in her son, and everyone's kind of chasing a result associated with their own self-worth and value, and that's kind of a pretty cool, relatable topic that I think anybody could enjoy, even if you're not a Michael Jordan fan or basketball fan.
Chris, you've worked with Ben on Argo and Live by Night, and one of your first roles was actually on Rounders with Matt Damon. Was there any Boston, New York tension to sort through with them, and what was it like reconnecting with them after all these years?
No, there wasn't. No, we got off from the beginning. The only tension we had is, you know, I was in Rounders with Matt Damon, and I was around a poker table with him, and I had 3 lines in the movie. And the director took away one of my 3 lines and gave it to another guy around the table. That was and it wasn't with Matt. It was just you know, it was one of those sad actor moments. So it was good to come back with Matt and get to scream at him and curse him out. You know?
Chris, in honor of MJ, what's your favorite Jordan memory?
I grew up watching him at the Garden. I watched him play. I'm a Knicks fan. Just seeing him play, you just froze in your seat, going, how the hell is anybody?
A lot of heartbreak for you is what you're remembering.
Yeah, it was a lot of heartbreak, but worth it.
Yeah.
But worth it.
Like the video? Then hit the button, or better yet, drop us a comment. Then check out our latest videos here. And don't forget to subscribe by hitting the button here for more celebrity interviews and entertainment news.